Episode 94, Raising Up. Introducing Luana Pires on the BTS Creative Academy Podcast, Uncut. With me, your host, Martin Colton.
How are you doing today?
Good, thank you. Really nice. Good start to the day. Sit down,
Amazing.
have a conversation with someone we just met. Someone in the creative industry, Luana.
Luana.
I'm always so concerned I'm pronouncing names wrong because it's
No, you absolutely nailed that. That was amazing.
wonderful.
Luana.
Luana. So before we start, I've got a little tradition. It's a really basic thing. I do a little clap at the beginning. After 3, I go 1, 2, 3, clap, and the podcast begins. Would you like to join
100%.
me? So 1, 2, 3. Sweet. And we're in the
Sorry.
podcast. We're in the zone.
Okay.
I'm just going to point that a little bit closer to you. Don't be afraid to talk into it. So, Luana,
Martin.
how are you?
I am doing great. Thank you. Yeah, it was a lovely morning. A few things happened on the way. I was going to eat a little bag of dry strawberries, but you know when you just open them too hard and they pop everywhere.
Strawberries.
Yes, dry strawberries. They're lovely. In the middle of the station, that was the start to my day. But really
But
good.
you're safe.
Yes.
All is good.
All is well.
The journey was okay. And
100%.
you've come today. You're a music manager
Yes,
of artists.
I own a little company called Aguia Music, and we are essentially music management, but we do specialize in the management of emerging talent.
Okay. So when you say emerging talent, does that mean in other industries, not just music?
No, it would be music.
You are
but
specialising in music.
in music. However, my artists, they tend to do a little bit more. So, for example, Slicko has done a little bit of acting before, and he's really good at that. I have Mima, who is oftentimes a model as well. So it's all within the creative industries, but it would be music.
Yeah, it's interesting that artists tend to be not just one thing. We try and pigeonhole them. We try and put them in a little box and say, you are just this. But we tend to have many different strings to our bow, don't we?
Exactly. I mean, I think about how it is to be a creative a lot because I am all about the spreadsheets. I'm all about the paperwork and the numbers.
Right.
And I've tried so many times to sit down, put a song together, but I don't know. It's not my thing. So we are so capable of so much as human beings. And then I think, imagine what a creative is capable of. Obviously, it wouldn't be just one kind of the industry. I think that's very perfectly said what you said about
and
creatives.
it's interesting that you kind of said that you want to be a creative. You've got this kind of passion to do something, but you've realised your skills and your natural talents lie somewhere else.
Exactly. I mean, I do love entrepreneurship. It is a true passion to me. But I did consider, before music, being an astrophysicist. So, you never know.
Okay.
But music, I have always been very passionate about music. And obviously everybody wants to, maybe not everybody, but a lot of people want to be able to create what they love. And for me, that's music. So a lot of the times I've tried to create, and I am right now actually as well. But I don't know. I'm not sure if it's the area that my skills, as you said, lying towards.
I think also that sometimes our skill base, we might want something. We might want to do something like write a song, but we don't necessarily have the skills straight away to do that, and it's quite hard
to build them up.
And it takes time.
It takes time. Yes.
So, just having a moment of like, I can't do that now, doesn't mean you can't do that 4 or 5 years from now.
Yes.
If you keep practicing, you keep trying, you keep surrounding yourself with other people that do that skill, then you might pick them up along the way.
I think so too. Thank you. Also, that is very nice to say. Yeah, I mean, 100%. If it's something that I truly want to do, I just haven't quite figured that out yet, because I do love the music business. It's a different side of the industry. It's, I love to see the people who make the movement for the music that are not just creates to get to a listener. That for me, it's a whole different passion as well, and it's something that I know I've built the skills for. It took me time, but I am really passionate about it. about working in this side of the industry. However, for the creation of music itself, it's something that I feel like I don't know if it would work so well with me. But I'm definitely trying. I mean, I've started doing a little bit of rapping because I'm mostly surrounded by rappers. So, you know, I'll see them, I'll pick up on this and that. And I always give my feedback to my artists in the production of their tracks or even the lyrics, even though it's something that I wouldn't be able to create myself. But
it sounds like there's a desire there.
There is.
There's a desire there to 100%. Want to be creative, to want to be an artist. But something's holding you back. Do you know what that is?
Wow. I don't know. I don't quite know. That is very interesting. I'll think about that probably the whole day or the few days to come. But
it's a tough one.
It is. Yeah. I don't know. I honestly don't know.
So where did this go back to when you were young then? So when you were young, and it sounds to me like music is a strong passion of yours. Was it? Yes. What was your thoughts when you were younger of what you would do with your life?
I always thought I would have a business. Always thought I would have a business. If we go so back to as when I was about, you know, like a kid, 6, 7, I started playing the piano. So I had classes and then I started playing the guitar and I tried most instruments, but I just didn't stick to them. So I thought at some point that I would be a singer, but I didn't quite like singing that much. So then I discovered rap and I thought I'd be a rapper. But I always thought I would have a company. I thought I was going to be an astrophysicist. I thought I was going to have something like NASA, you know. But
it's okay to dream.
Yeah, it's 100%. You know,
it's important, and not just okay. I think it's important.
100%. I think nothing is impossible. Absolutely anything is impossible. And some things might be very improbable, but impossibility is not a reality. So your dreams are only limited by yourself, truly.
So what made you decide then that you would start a company where you looked after artists, where you managed artists? What was it that drove you into that direction?
In high school, I had a few friends who were in a band and they started to invite me to their rehearsals. And very soon I became to kind of like figure out their little problems, like how do we get a show? How do we make this poster? Or, you know, all of those things. And I feel like I then realized, I think I'm managing them. And then I decided to come to London, study music business. And on my last year, I opened the company and I worked a lot in live industry as well. It's my most favorite part of music is singing live. So yeah, that's my journey.
And you kind of sound like you're really playing to your strengths, your natural talents, aren't you? You're really playing towards that.
I am. I mean, we are all gifted with something that we're good at. I feel like for me, the process has just been understanding what it is and getting good at it. It's still a learning curve. I feel like I'll be in a learning curve for a long time. But who isn't?
I think we learn. I think I'm nearly 40, and I think that I think it's important to not stop learning.
Absolutely.
Not stop developing the skills, and not stop trying new things as well.
Exactly.
And you know, this is very much a new thing to me.
Oh well done.
You know,
this
is like midway through last year, August. Started doing this, and before I started doing this, I'd have never thought that this would be a path that I'd be going down. I was very much wanting to be an actor and be centre of attention.
No way.
But after a pause and a moment of break, I realised that this was the thing that all of those skills and tools that I'd learned over the past career can be transferred into this new career.
100%.
This new path.
Yeah, and I feel like all of the things that led you to this, they were very important. I mean, we are in a theater right now, and we just talked about acting, so there definitely seems like there is that passion as well. So you never know. In the future, maybe 20 years from now, you might be doing something completely different as well.
Exactly, and I think with these creative things, like whether it's doing songwriting, rapping, singing, acting, you don't have to put them down and put forever.
Yes.
You can put them to one side for a minute and do something else.
I agree.
But you can always come back to them. you can always have a moment of restart as well.
Yeah, that is really good. I think I am personally 100% not shutting it down. I just think it's not something I should be focusing on right now, especially at the start of my company. So it takes years to build a successful company, and I feel like I will always love music, and I will always be myself. So if I create now and put the pressure on myself, I keep practicing, I keep doing what I have to do to get there, but I'm not putting the pressure on myself to do it right now.
What's your ethos for your company then? What is it you're trying to achieve?
It depends. On different levels, I feel like the company is mostly there to... Initially, I said that it was to get music from the artist to the consumer. But I feel like that was so superficial to explain this whole idea that I have for Aguia. Aguia, it's more of a space where I hear my artists and I genuinely like their music, and I genuinely want to help them to make a living out of it and be in it and be it. I remember my artists a lot that we are all we are representing a brand, so we are that brand, but it's also very important to connect with the person behind that brand. And I feel like the ethos for Aguia, it's mostly to supply this either physical or metaphorical space that they can just do them, and that will just help them get there.
Yes, yeah. That's a really good way to look at it, because it can be all consuming, thinking about the numbers and the metrics and we need to get to so many listens on Spotify, and we all want to make money through our art, but it can also that can also be like a hindrance kind of, and it can also like put us down. It can also put a block on what we're trying to achieve as a creative if we just think of the metrics. So that's really nice that you're coming at this with an angle of allowing the creatives to have a space to do their thing.
Thank you.
And I think you'll find a place within that it comes naturally.
Yes, I think so too. I mean, going back to what you were saying about, I completely forgot. I'm so sorry.
That's okay. we all have a moment of like, where the hell are we?
I had something. I was thinking about it, but then I caught on with what you said. And I agree with you.
Yeah, it's okay. Yeah, we all have. I have moments every now and then where I'm like, where am I? Oh yeah, I'm back in the theatre, back in the zone.
Sorry.
No, it happens, especially when like a situation like this, that we're sitting down and we're having an in-depth conversation about the things that are important to us. As well, aren't they?
Yeah, your mind wanders.
And you're trying to think, I've got to remember to say this. But what I like about this isn't an interview, this is a conversation. And within that conversation, we'll discover some things.
100%. It's a very welcoming one as well. Thank you.
No, I appreciate that. It's very nice to have you here.
It's very nice to be here. Thank you so much.
I truly appreciate it. And you brought one of your artists with you today, haven't you?
Slicko.
So you brought Slicko. So tell me a little bit about how you engaged with Slicko in the beginning. How did that happen?
We went to the same university, and we had a few friends in common. I think actually I was flatmates with one of his friends, and we met somewhere, like brief introduction. And then he had his birthday party, which was also the mixtape release for his debut project. And he invited me, and I was like, of course I'm going. And he came up to me at this point and said, do you like what's playing? I was like, I love it. Who is that? He was like, that's me. I'm like, cool, let's talk. So we talked for a few hours actually, and then we just had a meeting. We agreed on everything, wrote down a contract, and went from there.
Wow. How did that feel, that he was so embracing towards you, that he was so, it sounds like he kind of welcomed you into, he'd created this thing and then said, let's kind of work on this as a partnership to move it forward. How did that feel?
I feel like that was very mutual, though. That was very mutual, but I felt so appreciated. I felt like I had to be doing something right. I mean, at this point, I was already working at a few festivals as per the introduction of one of my tutors. I got a gig at a festival, and then I did a good job, so I got another one, and then another one. So I feel like there was definitely something around in the uni about that. So I felt appreciated. I felt I have to be doing something right. But at the same time, I was so... I really wanted it because I really liked the music, and I knew Slicko. I already liked him as a person because, I mean, who invites you to the birthday party if you only met once for a few minutes?
And that's important, isn't it? That's really important with this, that it's not just about the art. Yeah. It's about the people.
Exactly, 100%. I mean, again, Aguia is all about like connecting with the person behind creating the art that you want to sell so much, you know.
Yes. Yeah. So what is it that from like day to day, what is it you're doing for your artists? On
a day to day, I mean, no day is the same,
no,
to be honest with you, but at this point right now, we are doing a lot of marketing, planning, and execution. So there's we are recording a music video soon, so there's a lot of planning behind that, and there is location and people and, you know, the concepts and everything. So the way we do it was we always identify what we want to do, the goal that we want to achieve. At the beginning of every year, we have the meeting where we talk about what we want to achieve, and so we know our goals for that year. And I feel like we just act upon them and make the projects happen. And a lot of time, that's a lot of planning, and it's more planning than execution, to be honest with you, because for one execution, there's so much planning. But it's a lot of planning, marketing, finding people, introducing him to other people as well, like in this situation, for example.
Yes, yeah. Like you went out of your way, and I think I put a post in a group somewhere.
Yes, you did.
And then you contacted me and you said, and you know, you was very positive and very much like, I think I've got someone that's perfect to be on your podcast.
Exactly. It's all about him, to be honest. So I really appreciate being here.
Well, I think it's important to hear your voice as well.
Thank you.
To hear what you have to say. Like, without someone like you in the industry, people like Slicko aren't going to move forward.
Exactly. And that's why I feel like it is so important to identify those people out there too. And that's why I love the industry so much. As I mentioned earlier, I love the business side of this industry because we are the people who make it move. We are the ones like organizing all of the paperwork and doing all of those meetings and negotiations, and the numbers need to be solved as well. So yeah, definitely I love people in the business as well.
So why should an artist choose to go with someone independent like yourself over trying to sign up to some kind of big label?
I don't think there's an obvious answer to that, to be honest, because it really depends on what your goal is. If your goal is solely to create something that you fully want to commercialize, and you just want to be a big time performer, that's fine. Sign with the label. They will potentially provide you that. If you're good at it, they will provide you with that. But for artists who want to create because they are passionate about what they're creating, I think it's a little bit different, because when you sign to a major label, or even with an affiliated company of a major label, there is so much that you're signing for that you might not even know of. And a lot of artists nowadays, they sign the papers, not even nowadays, it's always happened, they sign the papers without truly understanding what it means. And there's so much control that you're giving away. I mean, the masters are the most important bit of your music, and just giving that away, for what seems to be a quick turnaround or short-term solution to a really long-term project is it's very different. Say, for example, UMG recently took all of their music from TikTok because TikTok wasn't really paying them well. And whilst that's very honorable that they're trying to defend their big artists and fight for them, I definitely feel like that will have some long-term great consequences. But for the short term, all of the artists that are signed to their affiliate labels and all of the artists that are just emerging talent as well, they're getting a lot of damage in their career, and they will probably have a really like a much harder time making it, because TikTok is such a huge platform. And
yeah, it became like a launch pad for new artists, didn't
100%,
and with
we rely on it.
Yeah, and with this new change, it would seem that they've like basically said, no, you can't have this launch pad anymore.
Yeah, and while it's really great because they are defending the rights for the artists and for themselves as well, but the artists who are making that much are receiving the damage.
I guess that we need to find a place within the industry then that supports the smaller and the upcoming artists as well as the established ones.
100%.
Whereas these new rules on TikTok have kind of just looked after the big established ones, and the smaller ones have been forgotten about.
Yeah,
the smaller
100%.
or up and coming.
Yeah, I feel like that's been happening more and more every day. Say like artist development companies have become more common nowadays, and that's really good because I don't know, maybe 20, 10, maybe even 5 years ago, it would be a bit more difficult for emerging artists to make it, especially if they don't have a manager or a team, for example.
So do you worry at all with your artists that the artists could potentially outgrow you or go in a different direction from what you want? And I don't mean that in a horrible way. I mean that in a way that let's say an artist gets to a certain point and then Sony ring them up and say, you better come over to us now. Yeah. Is that a concern for you in any way?
I don't think so. I mean, thinking about that situation, it would definitely hurt a little bit because of the person, because you helped them get there. But at the same time, that's what we're preparing for. We are preparing them to get to a stage where other people will come to them and recognize them. So I feel like if you're working in the business, it's very important for you to know what you can do and be confident about it. Because if you know what you're offering, then somebody else will want it. So I'm not saying artists are replaceable, because they're people. That's not what I'm saying at all. But getting to that point means that you have a certain range of skills that are incredibly desirable in the industry. And so I feel like if my artists decide to take a different route to what I personally have planned, that's fine. It's their life, it's their career, their choices. And we would probably still be friends. Yeah.
That sounds really good, and a really good ethos to have and a philosophy to have. That sounds to me like you're really trying to help pull people up. And when they get to that point that they don't need you to pull them up anymore, you're quite happy to let them go in the direction that they need to go.
Yeah, I would very much like to stay with them, but if that's what needs to happen, then...
And I think it could also do good for you as well. Yeah. Because then you would be seen as the management team that pulled that person to that position. Exactly. And so other artists would then look to you to say, especially new and emerging artists would go, oh, I know who I want to sign with.
Yeah, exactly.
What label I need to be part of.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of artists will come and see what you've done, and you can do that for them too. Yes. And I feel like that's a great way to build a roster as well. So yeah,
that's wonderful. And so what does the future look like for you? What are your hopes and dreams with your label?
I feel like I was just talking to Slicko about it. Slicko is also, you don't hear him say that much, but he is a businessman as well. So he builds so many ideas and so many things that he does. So we were talking about this, and the Aguia, the direction that it's taking is to become a part of a bigger collection of companies within the creative industries. So film and photography and fashion and all of those things. So I feel like that's the future of Aguia, to be a part of a creative that's then maybe owned by another bigger one, but by us, by our collective.
So you'd like to spread this out and make this as larger and reaching out to other corners of the creative fields?
I mean, The goal is to cover all areas of the creative industries one day and become this net of, I don't know, like the Disney of the music industry, you know?
Nice. Yeah, yeah.
It would be nice. I mean, Disney owns everything, and that's definitely the goal, to be in all areas of whatever there is that's creative.
And what do you think it is about Disney that appeals so much to have a business or an empire like that reaches out into many different fields?
I would be lying if I didn't say it was the power of having so much influence in what goes on in the world.
Yes.
I'm not a person who desires power in that way, but it would be for the collective. And I feel like we are good people for it. I love every single person who is part of this collective dream of ours, and they are all amazing people and very creative in so many different ways. So I feel like if anyone, us, you know what I mean? I feel like that's it. Yeah, because having so much influence.
They have influence and they have creative freedom, don't they?
Yeah, they do. They do what they want.
Yeah, they can literally come up with an idea within their business. They can come up with an idea and they can create it. And they're also tapping into not just entertainment but sciences, everything. Lots of different fields.
100%, and they are going to that one idea that they just created out of nowhere. It's probably going to influence in many areas of the next 2 or 3 or 4 decades. So it's a huge responsibility, but it's I don't know, it's desirable, you know.
Yes,
it's definitely a big dream because you would be able to do so much for everyone.
Yes. And like we said at the beginning, there's nothing wrong with dreaming.
Absolutely.
And dreaming big. 100%. And so what about you personally? What are your personal hopes and dreams for the future?
That pretty much with the companies.
Aligning with the company.
Yes, they are. They are.
The company is you.
Exactly. You are the brand you represent. And Aguia is me. I am Aguia, you know. Whatever happens in Aguia comes through me or from me. So very much the same, to be honest with you. I want to be one of the persons that's in the front line of all of this happening. And I definitely think I can do it, and that's definitely where I want to be and I want to go.
100%. I can see you doing it. I can see you're on the right path. We've only just met, and I've seen your online presence, but I think you're on a direction. You're on a course.
I appreciate it.
I think you're doing wonderful things with your artists.
Thank you.
And keep doing what you're doing, and keep this ethos alive and this philosophy of pulling them up.
Thank you.
I'm
Likewise.
sure you'll go far.
Thank you.
Oh, I appreciate it.
It's very nice to talk to you.
Thank you. Okay. So we took a little pause there because I noticed the heating was off, and we're in an old building, and if the heating's off, it gets very cold, and so I've just put the heating on.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
So that we're not both here shaking and shivering.
But very committed, though.
Yes, we're committed because there was so much more that I knew there was more that I wanted to ask you, and so I wanted to find out more about how you're bringing, because this is not just you, is it?
No,
this
absolutely not.
So what else, what does the business structure look like
for Aguia at the moment? It is just me. At some point I did have other people involved who are doing either administration or marketing, but at the moment anything Aguia, it's me. However, the collective of companies, we are all building a relationship. There's a lot more going on. So Slicko, for example, he has his own collective called HISO or High Society. So that's a whole different set of people as well.
And what do they do? What does that collective do?
They are all they're a group of creatives. He will definitely tell you more about it. I feel like he's definitely very passionate about it as well. So I'll keep it short. So it's just a group of creative people with different skills and passions coming together for one vision or one goal. Yeah.
So to summarize, then, so you've got these people coming together for one group and one goal. What are they adding to the creative journey of the artist?
A lot of them are artists. A lot of them are. They're all concentrated in the music industry.
Right. Oh,
sorry,
okay.
But I mean, they could be. They are photographers and fashion people, or there are different kinds of skills in the group, but they are all passionate about music and they want to make those things happen for music.
Okay.
So it's usually about helping the artist as well with your skill set, because the artist is usually the person who takes away the product of the combined skills.
And so for you, how are you building a team then? How are you building people around the team?
Personally, with Aguia, I feel like everything is pretty self-managed for Aguia alone. However, each artist has a different team. That's where the teams come from for Aguia. Say, for example, Maima, one of my artists who is currently in America, she has a creative director. Producer. What is it called?
Producer.
But there's another word, director. Sorry.
Executive producer.
Executive producer. I'm so sorry. I was gonna ask. And she has a photographer who works with her constantly as well. For Slicko, up until recently, we had a PR agent. Now we're looking for a new PR agent. We have a creative director who is also someone who is in HISO, and that's about it at the moment. We are very small, but we are building a team, finding people along the way who align with our goals and see the vision as well and agree with it and have something to offer, and we have something to offer to them as well. And we all just work together. There's also SK4. SK4 is an amazing collective of people who are a label as well, and they are definitely one of the top in their game. They're just starting, but they are really already making so much, and I'm just really excited to be surrounded by these people and work with them and create with them as well.
Wonderful. So how do you know if they're the right people? How do you know if you align with them? How do you know that it can work together?
It's all about the mindset, I feel like. I'm all about growth mindset and accepting failures as part of life and as part of growing and becoming better. And how people deal with failure is a huge takeaway for how they are as a person. So it's definitely the mindset. If somebody has a growth mindset, they are willing to learn, accept constructive criticism, and just, if they're open to become their better selves, that's when I see if they're passionate as well. They have to be passionate about something, because it is a lot of work. It is a lot of work. If you're not passionate about it, it's easy to fall out of things.
What does that passion look like?
The passion looks like not sleeping very much, but knowing that you want to achieve something so bad that you're willing to take anything from that time of your schedule to make that happen.
I feel like sometimes there's sacrifice in there.
100%. I feel like there's nothing that you can achieve without sacrifice, to be honest. Especially the goals that we have. I understand they are quite big, and a lot of them are not realistic for now, but one day they will be. And for them to be realistic one day, I need to pave the way now. So, yeah.
Why would you say they're not realistic right now? What's the difference between now and the future?
Because in the future I will have more experience. I will have failed a lot more, and I will have understood what I need to do and the things that I cannot do under no circumstance. But it's definitely about getting on the level of that goal. I I talk to myself and I am the person who I want to become. But I am also understanding that that person doesn't yet exist, because the person I am today doesn't have the skills that the person of me in the future will do.
So what message would you have to yourself 5 years from now?
Wow.
Because that future person will exist.
It will 100%.
So what are you going to say to her watching this back?
That's a difficult one. I would say, look back, now double it. If that makes sense. I feel like that will make sense to me in the future. So I need to look at this today, 5 years from now, and I know the things I'm doing. So I know that in the future, I just need to see where I am 5 years from now, analyze it, and just double the things I've done for the past 5 years, and just do twice, like, just do better. Yeah.
Do better.
As in, like, you can always do better, not in any negative way at all. But everybody can get better at something.
Yes.
There is no limit to how good you can be at something.
I have this idea of 1% better. 1% better every time.
Yeah.
Every time I sit down and do one of these podcasts, every time I act, every time I direct, every time especially I think this is really important when you're doing something creative. You're not going to be perfect straight away.
Yes.
You're not going to, when you're setting up a business, it's not going to go right straight away.
Exactly.
But if you can just aim to be just that 1% better each time, and then, like you say, for 5 years from now, you've been doing 1% better all that time. Now maybe strive for 2% better.
Exactly, because you're already comfortable with 1%. So from now on, do 2%, and you'll get there faster.
That's great. Yeah, I really like that. So, is there anything that you would like to discuss about the industry? Is there anything that you would like to share? Any thoughts that you have?
The industry is an ever-changing place, and I just feel like, for everyone who is listening right now or will be listening in the future, it is so important that you realize that this industry is never the same from a minute to another. There is so much happening, especially with all of the technology that we have nowadays, AI, that's developing so fast. Always educate yourself and keep educating yourself in what you want to do and the brand that you want to represent. What you know today, it's not what you know today is not everything that there is to know. And tomorrow, that same amount of knowledge will be far more outdated. If that makes sense.
It does completely, and it's an ever-evolving world. It's an ever-changing. It is. You mentioned AI there. Have you seen the latest AI video?
Oh my God!
Have you seen that one? It's like been released in like the last 24 hours.
Wow!
And it's gone from within a year of being this jerky, you can put in a world simulation that looks like some messed up dream.
I know.
To very close to reality.
Very close. It is scary, isn't it?
Like trying to distinguish. You can tell it's not quite reality.
Yes.
You can tell it's been generated.
But you're looking for it though. Imagine if you're just scrolling.
And imagine what's going to happen in a year from now.
Exactly.
If that's the development in a year, where are we going to be this time next year? I often
think, like, how is the world going to be in 10 years? 10 years is not far.
No.
And it's going to be such a huge difference.
How do you see it changing for your... Sorry, no, that was me that kicked you. How do you see it affecting your artists then? And how do you evolve to make sure that your artists can continue to be creative?
I feel like, my artists,
It's difficult, isn't it?
It is.
It's one. I think I'm asking a question there that's not just for you, but for the collective, for everyone to consider.
100%. I feel like everyone should consider that. Everyone who's doing something creative today should be considering that, because AI is really developing. But to answer to your question, I feel like we should always try to learn with AI. We are not going to know as much as AI does or do things as fast as AI does, but we can use it to our advantage as well. And AI is not just so bad. It's really good as well, and it gives you so many new resources. And I mean, if you want to get a drone shot, imagine in a year you probably be able to put yourself in an AI video in this insane scenario. So you can create better videos, you can create better visuals, or at least faster visuals. And
so maybe then we need to look at it as a tool,
100%.
as not something that's going to take us over and stop our creativity and stop us as human beings, but something that we can use to further our imagination and make things become realities that we would have struggled with, that we would struggle to do right now. An emerging artist can't necessarily make the music video of their dreams right now.
Exactly.
But 10 years from now, everyone could have that opportunity to create their dreams.
Yeah, and I feel like whilst that's really good, it's also really scary, because the industry is already so oversaturated. And I'm not saying it's bad to create. I advise anyone who has a little bit of passion to create, at least to try it out, because it's so healing as well. So in no way I'm saying that people shouldn't create, but the industry is incredibly competitive, and it's so oversaturated, especially in places such as London, where the concentrations are. So it's definitely a little scary for the future to have so much with so little. But
what about a future where the industry needs to evolve then? Because I don't think that we can stop this.
No,
I don't think that we can stop the evolution of AI and the enhancement of tools and the opportunity being open for everyone. So how does the industry evolve to cater for... Could you imagine a world where everyone has the opportunity to be creative, to share their art?
I feel like we need new platforms. There are lots of platforms nowadays, and sometimes it can be a little overwhelming to be in all of them. So I feel like being in maybe a centralized platform where we can use AI as much for our posts as for our ideas. I don't know. I feel like there needs to be a platform for AI to interact with humans in a creative way, and rather than AI doing it by itself, just us getting the help from AI to do that, to create a good piece of art. But at the same time, as individuals, we need to learn what AI has to offer. And I feel like AI is going to keep changing the world around us, so we just need to understanding and know how to use it.
Yes, yeah. And I think for me that's a fear of it, that people will try and use AI to be lazy and to not create, to not allow their imagination to be free.
Yeah,
but
that's definitely a concern.
But I think the human ego might be too big for that.
Yeah.
That might happen for 5 minutes, as everyone goes, oh, look what this can do.
Yeah.
But then once we've done that,
we'll get over it.
I think we'll get over it, and then we'll be like, yeah, but I want to do my thing.
Yeah, exactly. It's us.
I want to do my performing. Like the attention that, like I say, I think you're going to get 5 minutes where there's going to be a group of people that are going to get a lot of attention for what they do with AI. But then there's going to be nothing underneath that. They're going to find that quite hollow.
Yeah, I agree with you. I definitely see that happening, to be honest, because we as humans, we want to connect with humans.
Yes.
And we already have this fear of AI, and it's at the very beginning, and we already separate ourselves so much from it. So I feel like at some point, we will just judge it too harshly, to be honest with you, because humans are judgy, and we will see AI created things, and we will choose our kind, you know what I mean? Rather than a computer. So I feel like I definitely agree with you. I definitely see that happening, but I never thought about it that way.
Yeah, and I think if we go to music, I think music has evolved over hundreds of thousands of years with human evolution. I think it's ingrained within our beings, and I think that we can tell the difference between something that's been created by a human and something that's been generated by a computer. And I don't think a computer will ever fully understand that.
What it is to be a human.
What it is to be a human.
Yeah. To a certain extent, I have to disagree though, because I feel like with the internet, there is so much of us out there, and although if for more profound music or lyrics, that might definitely be true, but for commercial music, that might not be the case, because there is so much of us out there in social media.
I guess within social media, the system could learn what it is that we like.
Exactly. We cannot rule those things out, because it's just at the very beginning of its development.
True. Yeah, that is. There's so much to consider with it, and we're in the early days of this changing world.
And we will see so many changes over the next 5 years. I think we need to open our minds and kind of be more receptive of it in some ways, because it is not going away anytime soon. It might go away at some point, but not anytime soon.
So how are you going to help your artists through this?
My plan is just to keep learning, to be honest with you. I am always up to date with whatever AI, technology that's coming out, and I educate myself in it. So I want to understand it. I don't want to be away from it or very separated from it, because if I don't understand it, how can I combat the effects of it? So for me, it's all about knowledge, because when the time comes that I need to action upon something, I think I will just immediately problem solve with the knowledge that I do have. So yeah, my big plan is just understanding it, and I also keep learning is so important. And also, one thing that I've always done since Siri came out, that might sound very insane to a lot of people, is that I always treat AI well. I always say thank you to Siri whenever I go through ChatGPT or Alexa. I ask how they're doing, and I thank them for their service, because it might go away, but it might not too. And I definitely want to be remembered as that human that always treated us well.
You were one of the good ones.
One of the good ones. So I think, I don't know, it might sound silly, but it's always something that's
and I think it'll also reinforce you as a person. If you're, when you're outwardly communicating, the things that you're outwardly saying, I think these things become habit. So if you're polite and positive and nice to the AI, you're going to do that with other humans as well.
Absolutely. I mean, everybody's so interesting. We are all so different. Can you imagine like 8 billion of us, and all of us are so different in so many different ways? I love humans. I love people. Yeah.
It's interesting as well, because recently I remember a conversation with someone. They said to me, humans aren't special. We're all just floating on a rock, and there's nothing special about us, and there's nothing, there's no individuals, and
I used to think that,
and I understood that philosophy for a moment, but then coming back to doing this podcast and sitting down, I think this is like the 90th one that I've done of these now, and sitting down with 90 individuals, having a one-on-one conversation. Everyone is different.
I know.
There's not 90 variations. There's 90 individuals.
Exactly.
There are and then if I start to look at all the different people I know in my life outside, and everyone has different personality traits. Everyone has a different story to tell. Everyone is unique.
Exactly.
And everyone is special.
Absolutely. I feel like I definitely used to think that. And I think I realized that we have something that no one else we know has. And that's called consciousness. And the value of that, it's insane to me. And we think, oh, we are just floating on a rock in this massive thing that's the universe. And I think, well, you're floating on a rock that's part of the universe. So for you to be here, you have to be a part of it. We are the universe. We are not separated from it. So we are special. Even if it is a really small part of the universe, we're still the universe. Isn't that insane?
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy. And I think that's a beautiful place to end it on.
Thank you.
You've been so special.
You too.
You are special.
Thank you.
I appreciate you. Thanks again.
Absolutely. Thank you.
So, thank you for anyone that was listening.
Thank you.
As well. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. That helps a lot with
100%.
promoting the channel. Yes. Yeah, and it helps us connect to others. And yes, thank you ever so much.
Thank you so much for watching, guys.
Thank you for joining.
Thank you so much for having me, of course.
Wonderful. Thank you. That was the BTS Creative Academy Podcast, Uncut. If you'd like to find out more about the BTS Creative Academy, just search BTS Creative Academy. And so that you don't miss out on any future conversations, don't forget to like and subscribe.